All right. So, Dallas, what inspired you to climb a mountain? And what mountain did you climb?
I climbed Denali, which used to be known also as Mount McKinley in Alaska.
Okay.
And it's one of the seven summits, which are the tallest mountains on each of the continents. It's the largest mountain from base to top that you can climb. Not the highest at the top, but largest from base to top. And I did it when I was 40. And part of the reason was I just felt this something in my spirit that I needed to like go on an adventure with God, something that would really take me to the limits of depending on Him and walking with Him. And so that was really my motivation. Well, for this mountain, part of what makes it so difficult is, of course, you're at a high elevation, but then you have to carry a tremendous amount of weight with you because you're on the mountain about 3 weeks, or it can be more, and then you have to carry everything with you for that entire time.
Wow.
So that means that the heaviest we ever carried was probably about 75 pounds in a pack, and then also pulling a sled of probably 75, 80 pounds behind you. Hook a sled to your waist, basically. So you're like a pack mule
You're
going up.
like you're like you're like your own personal sled dog.
That's right. That's right. Just there's a lot to be carried up there, and it's wintertime conditions always up there. Of course, it's the nicer time of year, but it's snowy, camping in the snow, and you get your food and gear and everything else. One of the highlights is just arriving at the first base camp. You fly in on a small plane, and you realize it's something completely different up there, at least because the scale of everything is completely changes. Like there's a little rock outcropping in the distance, and to me it looked like it was maybe a half mile away or a mile away, and actually it might be 10 miles away. And then also probably the most memorable thing for sure for me was that every day God was taking care of me, and I had a spiritual plan for my time on the mountain, because I was definitely the least experienced climber in our team. We had a team of 12, three three guides with us, and this is my first time on a big mountain like this. For most of these people, they had climbed multiple other large mountains, maybe South America, different places, Kilimanjaro. And so I was the least experienced. So I had a plan, and it was I was going to stay in the Word every day. So I had a reading plan. I read the Bible every day in my tent at night. And then I prayed through a prayer list for our church every day while I was there. And for me, I guess because it's part of my calling, that always keeps me close to the Lord. Really, I can feel His presence when I'm taking that calling seriously to pray for the people. And so I would do that every day, and I could just feel His presence coming in and giving me strength. Well, I was at the limits of my physical ability. We had all as a team, and we would have four people roped together. That's how we would travel, guide and three climbers. And so we had several of those teams. All of us were going up what's called the bowl. It's a big kind of a round face of a mountain, and really hard. So this is above the 18,000 foot camp, and we had all gotten up to the top of it, but the weather was turning kind of weak south. So the guys decided everyone was going to go back down to camp, and this is probably halfway to the peak already. And I could feel it in my bones. I was like, if I go back down there, I don't think I can make this climb again tomorrow. So I'm like, God, I'm just trusting you. God, take me to the top. Take me to the top. Because we were the sixth guided team to be up there, and none of the other teams had summited at all because of weather and other conditions and physical things. So no one had summited that season. It was kind of unusual.
Wow.
And we were toward the beginning of the season, but like I said, we were about this. I think we were the sixth guided team up there, and no one yet had summited.
Wow.
So I was like, God, I'm just trusting you. And so our head guide said, tell you what, I'm going to take one team with me. Everybody else is going to go back down to camp, and you guys, and then we'll do another try tomorrow and the next day if the weather opens up. So I just raised my hand. I wasn't hooked to him already on a rope or anything. I raised my hand and said, I'd like to go with you.
Wow.
He said, okay. So we put together three of us as climbers and him, and we headed up there. And of course, the snow started to blow, and I could see in his eyes every time I saw him turn toward us, he was in the lead, that he was a little bit nervous. He was like, let's go, guys, let's go. Try to beat this weather. Anyhow, so we did that. I was with him. And so we made it to the very top. So I was part of the first team that year, the first bunch of climbers to summit, and which was great. And I remember getting to the top and thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to video myself. I'm going to videotape myself here with some like inspiring words for my kids or something. And it was just like nothing inspiring at all. So,
you want to
it
shout?
doesn't always, it doesn't, it's not all glory. So, sometimes it's just making it, but made it to the top and made it back down. So.
Wow.